Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and today we're back with another 1.4 Lightcone banner review of version 1.4, the upcoming one for Jingliu, as well as Topaz. Now, we are not going to be talking about like the 5-star specific one because of the unofficial information is not released yet. We're going to be mainly talking about the 4-star value, and I'll give you my thoughts both from a new player perspective, if any of you are new joiners, or veteran players. Notice I didn't say whale or free to play. I think it's up to individuals if you decide that you want to pull for Lightcone or not. Generally, the rule of thumb is you don't really want to pull on Lightcones until you've gotten the characters that you've wanted and more or less solidified your account. But anyway, we don't waste time on this channel, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, Jingliu's Lightcone banner, we have 3 Lightcones. Let's go into the game engine and we can see a much clearer, starting off with the Harmony one. So the first one we want to talk about is Memories of the Past. Now, out of all of the Harmony Lightcones, I don't really like Memories of the Past the most. Why is that the case? If you generally think about Harmony Lightcones, they are more for like buffing for the team. This increases break effect of the character, and it does give a little bit of energy restoration for the particular character. So if you are like super reliant on energy and you need your character to attack, maybe they get some buffs or passive effect that benefits the team. Otherwise, this is a very restrictive element compared to, especially if you want to see the other Harmony Lightcones, like Planetary Rendezvous gives same type damage buffing, which is very universal for DPSs. Dance, action advances when your ally uses their ultimate, and of course you have even, for example, the Battle Pass one. This one increases more damage, which is in line with what a Harmony does. And even past and future also, when the wearer uses their skill, next ally deals more damage. So the rest of the 4 stars are kind of like in line with what Harmony does. Memory of the Past, I think, is a bit more iffy. We don't have a character out in the game yet that can use this super well. And that is my opinion. I think out of all of them, maybe S-Star with the break effect for Fire Break, and you get a bit more energy restoration. Other than that, I think the other ones are much better. I'll probably rate this as like a B tier Lightcone out of all of them. And next up, let's talk about the second one, which is Eyes of the Prey. That's going to be on Jingliu's banner. Eyes of the Prey is also, I think it's great for Sampo himself. It increases effect hit rate if you get it up to like max levels at 40% effect hit rate, and increases DOT. Decent for Kafka as well if you're playing this. But of course, there are other alternatives too. You could run the free to play for Mata, because the one thing to note is that if it's already free to play, means it's quite competitive and compared to like a gacha 4-star. This one is of course from the Herta Lightcone shop. So I think that if you are playing like Kafka, this break effect is pretty decent. Of course, you have a bit more this 32% increase damage compared to like this 48% of Eyes of the Prey. This is really mainly if you are looking for effect hit rate versus break effect, which is why I think currently in the game not as vital. I would say it's also around B tier depending on your thoughts. And the last one out of the 3 is Make the World Clamor. This is Serval's Lightcone Erudition Lightcone. This one was given for free if you started way back at the launch and you did like the online event. But I'll assume that no one has it because it's been quite a while already. So you immediately regenerate 20 energy upon entering battle and increases ultimate damage by 32%. This is great, of course, if you are focused on ultimate bursting. I think this is a pretty decent alternative. Probably I would say like it's A tier for now. But one thing to know is like the Seriousness of Breakfast, which is a free-to-play Lightcone, is also really strong, because if you get this at max Super Imposition 5, you get a damage increase of 24%, and of course whenever you defeat an enemy, you stack your attack 8 by 8%, which means you get 24% damage bonus, 24% attack. It's free to play, you can get it from a Herta Lightcone shop. You don't have to pull on this banner if you're looking for an Erudition Lightcone like this one. This one really is like focusing on ultimate burst if like you have no damage coming from your auto attacks or your, for example, skill. I would say this is like probably the best out of the 3 of them, but I would say it's still like a low A, B tier in my opinion at least. And now let's come back to this screen, and I think you can kind of guess like my rating. For new players, I think it's definitely a B tier. There are many free-to-play Lightcones available if you are just looking for these 4-star casts. The super impositions are not fantastic either. And same thing for veterans. I don't think anyone will be looking at this for now. Maybe in future, Memories of the Past might increase in value, especially if we get an interesting Harmony character, maybe a 5-star one that comes up. So overall, I'll say this banner is like a B tier. You are probably pulling on this banner for mainly the Lightcone itself. So this is all just copium. You won't get anything like super good value. It's either you get her Lightcone or nothing at all. And that is, I think, a very big difference of mentality knowing going into this Lightcone banner as well. Topaz banner thankfully is not as bad as Jingliu's banner. I think there's quite good options here. Now let's head back into the game engine and I'll talk about the 3 options available. I think the most simplest one to talk about is of course the resolution shines as pearls of sweat Nihility Lightcone. This one is I think super strong. This is in my opinion like an S tier Lightcone. Why is it? Because any Nihility character that uses this has the ability to ensnare an enemy with dropping their defense. So all Nihility characters can essentially have a defense break in their kit. Which also works with DOT for those of you who are not aware. If you drop the enemy's defenses, DOT damage increases as well. So ensnare damage, defense decrease 16%, 100% at super imposition 5. This is insane good value, turns everyone into a Nihility character. It's also very unique because the rest of them are either increasing damage like Good Night Sleep Well or some sort of focus on DOT here. This is general, it plays into both DOT teams, debuffing teams alike, and even the 5-star Lightcones don't really have anything that lowers defense. Even like Silver Wolf's one, Incessant Rain, drops for example, or increases damage on enemies taken. So that is pretty nice to see too. And the next up I think is a Hunt one, which is Only Silence Remains. This is Dan Heng's Lightcone, or at least his picture on it. This is pretty decent early on. If there are 2 or fewer enemies on the field, you increase a lot of crit rate, you get quite a bit of attack. The one that everyone usually compares this one to is Swordplay. If you have Swordplay here, the amount of stacking that you can get from this Lightcone is a lot better. Damage is generally a lot better, especially since your Hunt characters generally have quite a bit of crit rate already in their kit, so you can make use of the damage bonuses here for Swordplay rather than this one here. And the main problem like with Only Silence Remains is it competes with Cruising in the Stellar of Sea, which is a free-to-play Herta shop Lightcone. Because at like max level, super imposition 5, you have already like 16% crit rate here, and an additional 16% if you are, that's conditional, and also like some attack bonuses, and you have 5-star stats. So generally speaking, Only Silence Remains definitely fights with this one, unless you're running like 2 or more Hunt characters. I do think that Cruising in Stellar Sea is more than enough. Otherwise, I will go for Swordplay. But of course, if you have more than 2 characters, this is also a decent alternative to have. And let's take a look at the last one. The last one is Moles Welcomes You. This is not a free-to-play Lightcone, this is a gacha 4-star. The free-to-play is Wolf Walk Time, so this one's a bit more niche here. It increases only if it's burn or bleed, and attack percentage by 20%. So we are taking that into account and looking at this. When wearer uses a basic attack, skill, or ultimate to attack enemies, you gain these stacks of Mischievous, and each stack increases by 12%. So you can get up to like 3 stacks. If you use all 3, that's like 36% attack percent. Which is decent for any character that scales off with a lot of attack, but you don't get anything else like damage bonuses and stuff like that. And that is something that it's useful to know. On the other hand, the free-to-play on the fall of an Eon, here is whenever you attack, you already increase by 16%, can stack up to 4 times. You can get quite a lot of attack from here, and when the wearer inflicts weakness breaks on enemies, the wearer's damage increases even by 24%, so you get both attack, damage, as well as the stats here, compared to the Moles Welcomes You, which is really only just an attack percentage bonus. Okay, now coming back to this screen, I think that this banner is definitely a lot more value compared to the previous one, with one caveat of course is new players don't really need this one urgently. As I mentioned, you have pretty good free-to-play alternatives if you're looking for Hunt as well as the Destruction Lightcones. I wouldn't say it's as much of an urgency for a new player. You can just take your time, go to the Herta shop and pick up the standard 5 stars from there. And also for veterans, if you are, I think where it makes a difference is if you are looking for resolution shines as pearls of sweat, maybe you're going for Topaz, you're thinking of either Topaz or Seele's Lightcone, you could pick up this resolution shines of pearls of sweat as well. And I think for veterans it's definitely an A tier, just because of how good and how versatile resolution shines of pearls of sweat is. And overall, I think the banner will be definitely slightly higher than the previous one, which is an A tier banner. Nothing fantastic, but it's still better than the bottom of the barrel. And yeah, if you appreciate such content, do like and subscribe for more such future videos. And I think you'll be interested with the 5-star Lightcone stats right here, and click on it once it's available as well. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.